I know that for many, it has been a very hard year. It's so funny when I was, that's a weird thing to say. It's been a hard year. It's so funny. But I was thinking about the soliloquy in Hamlet. And I was thinking about that part of the soliloquy that is something along the lines of, to die, to sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. That is what this year has been. The heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. The first thing I had to do was learn to sit in my discomfort. So many times when something unpleasant happens to us, the first thing we want to do is find relief, some level of comfort. We run to friends, distractions, busyness, work, leisure, whatever will help us self-soothe. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, but we also need to sit with ourselves and figure some things out. I believe it's important to examine why the thing happened, if it could have been prevented, what part we played, if any. Were there some warning signs we ignored? Was this a cycle repeating itself, a behavior pattern? Was there something to be learned, an opportunity to grow? Many times I also feel like we try so hard to prove that we're strong when what is really needed is an admission of weakness. We don't have to have it all figured out. Sometimes that's what getting stuck makes you realize. I don't have it all figured out like I thought. I failed miserably. I don't want to try again. I can't seem to try again. These are all places of truth that I think only surface in the silence when no one is telling us it's going to be okay. I believe that when we're in a rush to exit a season of testing or hardship, we rob ourselves of the lessons we're supposed to learn. Take this year, for example. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but all around me I see desperate attempts to create a sense of normalcy amidst the chaos. I get it, it's a coping mechanism. But why are we in such a rush to feel better? This year was clearly intended to make us examine ourselves, to sit in our discomfort and own the things we've been trying to avoid, sometimes for years. I believe that trying to go on as before is counterproductive to the work that is supposed to be taking place right now on the inside. When I let myself feel everything and deal with my own helplessness, when I decided that God was in control and not me, that recovery might take longer than I thought, when I got to the end of myself, that was when I actually felt the most peace. That was when I saw gaps in my perspective and the holes in my armor, and then I began to work on them. So I believe that if you want to get unstuck, you have to surrender to the discomfort and find out who you really are when things don't go your way, and then build from there. The second thing I had to rediscover to get unstuck was value, my value. One of my least favorite things about trauma is how much it takes from you, how much you have to recover and rebuild after the fire. And usually there's so many layers to the process. A lot of times trauma takes our motivation, our self-esteem, our confidence, our joy, our faith, our peace, our willingness to try again, the energy to try again, and you name it. Obviously we need all of these things to have a life worth living.
As a follower of Christ, I've learned that God will sometimes correct before he comforts. He led me to the story of the parable of the sower in Mark 4. And by reading it, I learned that I was the seed on rocky ground. My roots at the time weren't deep enough to endure what came at me, and I became offended with God for not saving me. But God had to remind me of his value and that he's not some deus ex machina. There's this quote that says, "Proximity to divinity is no guarantee of a perfect life." And that is true. We all have our cross to bear. It had been my job to learn his word, to hide it in my heart, and to hold on when trials came. All throughout the Bible, we are warned to expect trials, persecutions, and tribulations. But a lot of times when they come, we're like horrified or shocked. And not to say that we can't be human, but it's almost like we forget. And I was thinking to myself, why are we warned so much? And I felt led to reread verse 17. And God pointed out to me that with that seed on rocky ground, persecution had come because of the word. In other words, we are sometimes attacked because we have seed in us. Whether or not we see it or feel it, God has planted something that will one day bloom and bear fruit. And that's what sometimes attracts the warfare. That's what the devil comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. The word in you, the word of God that is in you. He doesn't come for anything that doesn't have any value. God shared so many other things, but these are the main ones I felt would be typical for a journey, or at least for someone who's on a journey of getting unstuck and healing. And I hope that resonates.
When I was doing some research for my art journal, I just wanted to see what inspiration was out there. I found this girl, and she shared that her art teacher told her that the most important thing is not to get stuck in indecision. He encouraged them to keep a journal and just scribble in it every day. Draw something every day, write something every day, because it helps you get used to making decisions. When you don't know what to do, the best thing is not to get stuck, but to make the next decision and then not dwell necessarily on whether or not it was a bad decision or a good one, with your art, I mean. But to just keep moving forward, and as you keep moving forward, the path becomes clearer. So then, quote unquote, a good artist is just someone who has gotten good at making decisions. Your taste becomes more refined, and you're able to come up with more and better original ideas. So when you start an art journal, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Try any and all ideas. Collect everything that's inspiring you and put it in your journal. Let your mind wander and don't put limits on yourself. There are no wrong decisions in art. You only find new ways of creating that you hadn't thought of before. So for me, this is what this is about. Making decisions, not letting myself stand still any longer. Not letting myself give into whatever it is that has been sent to steal the word from my heart, to steal my joy, to steal my peace, to steal my creativity. Just whatever it is that fills your life with meaning, not allowing the enemy to rob you, to steal your quiet time with the Lord, to steal your prayer life, to steal your virtue, to steal your purity, to steal you away, to distract you from this time of purging and sanctification and rebuilding with God. In celebration of getting unstuck and moving forward, I wanted to share one of my favorite poems. It's called Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. And I think that time is now for many people.